Okay, hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Welcome to today's lectures uh, on how to write a successful research paper. Before we start, can I ask everyone please to mute your microphone so everybody can listen to the lectures, and of course you can ask the question at the end of the lecture, and the lecture will be on two parts because the Zoom is only allow 40 minutes, so we'll take a break after 40 minutes for 5 minutes and then we will rejoin again. Thank you so much. Okay, my name is Associate Prof. Dr. Hasanain Faisal Ghazi. I'm a medical doctor with master and PhD in public health. I have around 90 papers, 56 of them in Scopus H Index 11, and currently I am the editor-in-chief of the Global Journal of Public Health Medicine. I have been in the research and publication area for the past 13 years. And I have 5 books published. Some of them is Malpractices in Publishing Scientific Research, How to Write Research Manuscript in 1 week, and 100 Q&A about publishing your research, or the books available on Amazon if you are interested. And of course, this one about research method, but it is on medical and health study. And I would like to welcome all the staff and lecturer from Ivory College of Technology to today's lectures. So today we will focus on firstly how to write a manuscript, the publication process, about the journals, how to find the suitable journals, and then we'll talk a little bit on the submission and review tips. And as I said, at the end of the lecture, we can take some question from you to answer. Okay, so to write a successful paper, of course, you need to write the manuscript first. So how to write a manuscript? Of course, all of us know that most of the journal, they use the IMRAD format, which is consist of introduction, method, result, and discussion. This is the usual format for the research article. We're not talking about review article, we're talking about original research. And as you know, the most important section in any manuscript is I hope my sound is clear to everyone. Oh, okay, yes, thank you. So as I said, that the most important section in any manuscript is the title, abstract, table, and figures. Why these three is very important? Because when you submit your paper to a journals, who is checking your manuscript is the editor-in-chief. As you know, the editor-in-chief is very busy person. So he don't have time to read your paper. So he will look for your title, your abstract, which is the main findings of the paper. And also, if he has time, he will look for tables and figures to see if the statistical analysis is good or no. So that's why we should focus on these three important sections in the manuscript. Okay, because later it will decide whether your paper will be sent to the reviewer to be reviewed or no. Okay, so how to start writing a manuscript? First, you have to start with the methods. Why we start with the methods? Because we already did the methods before the data collection, so everything is ready for us. That's why we start with writing the methods parts, then tables and figures. Why? Because we analyze the data, then we have the result section, which is just writing the tables and figure in words, then introduction, discussion, keywords. And the most important thing that the last thing to be written is the abstract. Why? As we said, because abstract is very important. And usually we have many versions for abstract until we are satisfied that this version of abstract is good before we submit to the journals, because the abstract is representing the conclusion of the paper, the summary of the paper. That's why it is a very important part of any paper. Okay, let's talk about the title. Usually nowadays, the journal asking for two titles. One is the full title, one is the running title. Why they asking for running title? Because some of the journals, especially if they have a print version, you can see that at the top of every page, they put the short title, or they call it the running title of your manuscript. Some journal, they put the author names, etc. So this is why they ask for two titles. Tips for good title is, of course, you have to use attractive words. And as we said always, your manuscript title can be different from your research title. So when you do a research, you collect the data, you can put a title, but when you publish your manuscript, you can choose a different title, use attractive words. Maybe you can use some words from your conclusion of the paper. Okay, some of the journal, they ask you to put the study design, like cross-sectional, cohort, case control, like this, and also the place of the study sometimes is asking about this. Title should be less than 20 words, and usually you should avoid using waste word like study on, investigation on. Uh, of course, some of the journal, they don't like to use abbreviation in the titles. It's better to spell out the full names, and of course review the title again and again. In the abstract, avoid using the classical word like in this paper. Do not start this like this. Of course, you cannot put references in the abstract. Also, we are saying don't put acronyms or abbreviations. In general, write the abstract in one paragraph. And if you use the tense, either past or present tense may be used in writing the abstract. For the introduction is maximum 3 to 4 paragraphs, 100 to 200 words to introduce your topic, 500 to 1000 of literature review, and the most important, the last paragraph of the introduction section should be the aim of the study, which is the general objective. This is very important. So the introduction, is a 3 to 4 paragraph, as we said. It's what we know, what we don't know, and what's our paper is adding to the knowledge in this specific area. The methods is around 200 to 400 words. We have to describe the method that we use to in the data collection, how we get the respondent, sampling method. Some of the journal, they will ask you about sample size, how you calculate the sample size. Of course, ethics is very important, whether it is on human, animal. They ask you about ethics approval and also statistical analysis. What is the statistical test that you use, the software, even some of the methods like even the statistical test that you use chi-square, t-test, all this information you have to add it in your methods part. Of course, if you are doing an experiment, you have to put in details, even the machine that you use, the reference for the machine, even the name of the company that you bought the machine from. All these details should be under the methods. Then we're talking about result and tables. Of course, the result for the tables, of course, in the result, do not explain every table in details. You just put the headlines of each table. No need to explain the table in details. Why? Because the reader, they go to the tables and they can understand the table better. So that's why no need to explain everything in details. For the tables, usually maximum 4 to 5 tables. Some journals, even I saw some journals are very restricted. Only 3 tables can be allowed. It depends on the journal format and policy. The title of each table must be self-explanatory. This is very important. And the most important, table should not be large. The journals, they don't like large table. Why? Because they want to put the table in one page. They don't want to go to the next page because it will be a distraction to the readers. So that's why it is maximum 6 column and 12 rows. This is very important. And also includes the confidence interval and p-value where possible. This is important. We are talking about nowadays, if it is only descriptive statistic, your chance of getting published is very low. You must have at least inferential statistic. And of course, if you are having advanced statistic like multiple regression or factor analysis and modeling, of course, your chance of your paper to get published is higher. Okay, the discussion. As the authors say, the discussion is the most difficult part of any paper to be written. Authors, they don't like to write the discussion. Usually it is a 3 to 4 paragraphs from 500 to 1000 words. The first paragraph, usually it is the main findings. you start that the main finding of current study was, and you put what is your main findings. But the most important in discussion, do not repeat the result. No need to repeat the numbers. You just discussing your result. Discuss the result in words, not in numbers. This is very important. And the other thing that the second paragraph, it's about the study limitations. And of course, here we are focusing again, you should distinguish between limitation and weakness. Do not put your study weakness. You put your study limitation, okay? Some of the authors, they put the example of study design as a limitation. This is not limitation because you are saying why you didn't choose the other study design. So it is a weakness of your study. So you have to distinguish between weakness and limitation. Limitation may be logistic problem, you have some problem, and transportation problem, all this called limitation. It is not a weakness. And of course, the third and fourth paragraph, it's about comparing your result with the previous study. And again, you have to compare with people agree with you, and of course, with people disagree with you, both of them. But of course, if your result is totally against the common sense, you have to give your own explanation why your result is totally different from all the other previous results. Okay, the conclusion is about 200 words. It's one paragraph. Usually it is a 3 to 4 sentence. And the goal is to summarize the contribution to the field, and some is to propose possibilities for future works. Like we are suggesting that the future study to include a bigger sample size, maybe more area, different area, all these, like this is called suggestion, and you are proposing something for the future. So general rules for manuscript. Introduction is maximum of 5 paragraphs, maximum 10 references in the introduction. The last paragraph in the introduction is a research question, as we said, the general objective. In the discussion, not more than 2 references for each factors. Okay, this is the verb tense to be used in writing the research manuscript. For abstract, we use past to describe actual result, present to tell facts or finding from analysis. Methods, we use for introduction, we use present to describe background, present perfect to tell about previous research. In the method, we use past to describe what we did, like the data collection, present to explain diagram and figures, result past to describe actual result, and present to explain table and figures. Discussion, the past to summarize finding, present to interpret significance or findings, and for the conclusion, past to talk about completed research, and present to discuss implication and suggest the future research. This is very important, as we always say, that the most common, most reason for rejection of a paper, number one is the English language. So you have to be careful for English. Of course, if you have the ability to send for English editing, professional one, or you find this one, the online services, it will be better before sending to international journal. We are talking about Scopus and Clarivate Analytics Q1 and Q2. They are very particular for English language. So you have to be careful regarding the English language. Okay, this is in a summary, in a simplified way, how to write the manuscript, the format. The title should be less than 20 words, contain the 3W, which is what, who, and where, author name and affiliation, then the abstract. Most of the journal using less than 250 words, including introduction, background, methods, result, and conclusion. Keywords is 3 to 5 keywords to be provided. The keywords is very important. Why it is very important? Because it will determine whether your paper will be cited in the future. So this is very important. The keywords, because people, when you search in the future, they will find your paper and cite you. The introduction, maximum 3 to 4, 100 to 200 words, 500 to 1000 of literature review. All these, the methods, result is just a repetition, but this is in a simple way. Discussion, conclusion. Of course, you have to put acknowledgement if you want to acknowledge someone who helped you in this research. Competing of interest, of course, you have to declare that you don't have any competence of interest. And of course, the reference depends on the journal style. You have to read the author guidelines. Some journal using Harvard, some using APA style, some journal using Vancouver. So depend on the journal style. And this is very important. Another point, the journal, they are very annoyed by the format of the reference. So you have to be very careful regarding the reference for the in-text referencing, and also the list of references at the end of the manuscript, because also some of the rejection is about the format. If your manuscript format is not good, also the journal will reject your paper. The table, as we said, it is 4 to 5 tables, confidence interval and p-value where possible. The table should not be large. And usually table 1 should be socio-demographic characteristic. Then we're talking about dependent variable, which is your outcome. Table 3 is association tables. And table 4 is about other factors. And table 5 is about multivariable tables if we have advanced statistic. So this is the first part, which is writing a manuscript. You want to ask the question now, or you want to make the question at the end of the session? Is up to you. You can write to me in the chat. Okay, at the end of the lecture, no problem. So now the second part is publication process. So now for your paper to be a successful paper, you have to publish it, right? It is not only writing the paper and keep it in your drawer. You need to publish your paper. So we need to understand the publication process. So we want to understand the journal types. We have 3 types of journals, scientific journals. We have journals indexed in Scopus or Clarivate Altix, which is the Web of Science. In these journals, we have 2 types, either closed access or they call it hybrid journal. We'll talk about them. In this closed access, the journal will ask you, when you submit your paper, they will ask you whether you want your paper to be published in a closed access, and you don't have to pay any APC, which is article processing charges, or you want your paper to be available to everyone, published online publicly and open. It's called open access. You need to pay the fees. And some journals, they are only open access. So if you choose this type of journals, you have to pay the APC fees, and the article will be free online to everyone. This is the first type of journal, which is journal available in Scopus and Clarivate, which is Web of Science. The second type is trusted journal, but not in Scopus or Clarivate Altix. Usually these type of journal belong to universities, some of the small publisher, a new journal. They are not yet in the Scopus and in Web of Science. And also they have 2 types, either paid publication, that's mean author need to pay the APC, which is the article processing charges, or free publication. And this free publication is mostly journal belong to university, and author do not need to pay anything. So this is the second type of journals. The third type of journal is called predatory journals, or the suspicious journals, which is scam journals. These journals, they don't have any quality. They only care about money. They take money from the authors. First of all, they don't have any quality in their papers. There is no review process, nothing. Nobody will cite your papers, and it is very dangerous to publish with these journals. You can check them, of course, using 2 websites. It is the predatory journals website. We will put it later, and also the billslist.net, which is it is belong to Jeffrey Bells. If you heard about Jeffrey Bells, it is the first person, 2012. he was talking about predatory journals and scientific publication. So you have to be aware from predatory journals. Okay, the question, are there some predatory journals in the big database? Talking about Scopus, the Web of Science, and Doge. Yes, unfortunately, some of these predatory journals are available on Scopus, and they are doing some malpractices by only taking the money. There's no review to the paper, but of course, Scopus every few months they are taking out hundreds of journals from their database. They are watching all the journals and they are periodically reviewing the journals quality. Okay, so type of journals, we're talking about hybrid. Hybrid, that's mean they give you two options. Either you close access publication or open access publication, which is the APC. You have to pay. And this is an example from Elsevier. This is updated on 29th of March 2020. This is the list of their journals. So when you see the journals beside it, they put the model. It is either hybrid or open access. And for hybrid, they will put you the OA fee is the 3,000. Example, this one for open access, it is only open access. So you cannot choose your paper to be closed access. If you choose this journal, you have to pay 2,170 USD to get your paper published. But for hybrid, you can tell the journal, thank you, I don't want open access. I want to publish my paper in closed access, but I will not pay any money for you. So this is the difference between hybrid and open access journals. The open access, as we said, that you need to pay the article processing charges. And just to take note that open access journals is cheaper than hybrid journals. Okay, this is an example you see here. For open access is 2,000. For the hybrid, if you choose the open access inside the hybrid, is 3,000. Okay, the question is why the hybrid journal is more expensive than open access, because all these hybrid journal is very old journal. That means they have been there for 30, 40 years, while open access journal is a newly published journals. That is the difference. So people, they prefer hybrid journal because it is for scientific reason and more prestigious, that it is, they are old journals, so they are higher ranking. This is the reason why it is cheaper. Okay, so the other question is which one I choose? I choose open access or traditional journal, which is the closed access. So there is 4 factors to determine whether I choose the open access or the closed access. The first one is the visibility. Publishing your article in OA journal means that more people are likely to see you. This is a study. They saw that if you publish in OA journals, there is 89% higher PDF download compared to the closed access journals. Why? Because closed access, only people who are having access to the journal, they subscription to the journal, they can download and view your paper. The second factor is the cost. As we said, open access, you have to pay more than closed access. Closed access, no need to pay anything. So this is the other factors. Prestige, as we said, the hybrid journal, the closed access is more prestigious than the open access because they have been there for many, many years compared to open access. Open access journal is maybe established in the past 10 years or so. So this is the difference. And the last one is the speed. Of course, the speed, the people, they like, this is also another study, they are author, they are saying that 65-70% of the authors, they consider the speed from acceptance to publication to be a very important, as we know that open access journal, they are very quick in the review process and the publication process, available online. It is quicker. Why? Because open access, you are paying money to the publisher, to the journal, so they can pay to the staff and the process will be faster. This is the factor. So what is the benefits of open access? You increase visibility, of course. Your paper will be available on Google Scholar, everywhere. Everyone can read your paper, download and cite you. Drive innovation, public access, even the people from public can access your paper. Increase citation, this is very important. As I said, that many studies comparing closed access to open access journals, and they found that if you publish in open access, your paper is publicly, your citation will be higher, and your H-index, of course, will be higher. Global impact, and of course, we are talking about European Union and America. In the US, when you take a research grant, it is compulsory for you to publish your paper open access, so it is comply with the funder policy. So this is the benefit of open access, but of course, as we usually say, it is depend on your budget. Do you have enough budget to publish your paper open access or no? And if you have a research grant and all these other factors. Okay, so what is index journal? Also, we heard about this term many times. Indexing, it is a service which is abstract and indexing services. It is a database, that is the journal subscribe to this database. That means all the paper published by the journal will be available on that database. But what is the index? They will only index the title, the author name, affiliation, abstract, and the keywords. So later, when there is a student or a researcher, they go and search online in this database, your paper will appear to them, and then they will cite your work, and this is the whole purpose of indexing. It is very essential to any journal to be indexed, help journal to achieve its main purpose of being accessible to a wide audience. And of course, if you are accessible, that in turn will improve journal reputation. This is very important, and database research is the first activity research undertake as part of their study. When you are undergraduate, postgraduate student, the first thing to do is to go to a database and search for a paper. Why? Because you have a dissertation, you have a thesis, you have a research project, final year research project, so you need to do a research, so you need to read paper. How to find a paper? You have to go to the database. Okay, what is the most common database? Of course, the most common and famous used globally, we are talking about Google Scholar. Of course, it is the most used one, but of course, there is a lot of criticism against Google Scholar. Why? Because they are indexing even the predatory journals. Talking about the directory of open access journal, the Doge. We are talking about PubMed. This is for medical and health, the PMC, Embase, Midline. All this is the big and reputable databases. But of course, we are talking about the most important two nowadays. Number one is Scopus. As all you know, Scopus is owned by Elsevier. It's launched in 2004, currently around 36,000 title, but only 22,000 is active journals, because as we said, periodically, Scopus, they kick out 100 of journals every year. And of course, Scopus, they give type of a quality measure like H-index for authors. They give CITE score for journals, the SJR and SNIP. This is the three measurable metrics for journals. The most important is the CITE score is about the quality of the journal, depend on the citation of the journal for the past 3 years. So each journal, they have a CITE score. I will share with you at the end of the class my YouTube channel. In the YouTube channel, you can see videos about Scopus, Clarivate Analytics, all this information about publication and research. And for discontinued journal for Scopus, the latest update was on February 2020. And as we said, always don't trust the journal. Always check Scopus website, which is www.scopus.com. Also in this video on our YouTube channel, it shows you how to use the Scopus website to make sure that the journal is indexed in Scopus and it is still available in Scopus and not being discontinued the coverage in Scopus. The other important one is we're talking about Clarivate Analytics. Clarivate Analytics, it's Web of Science. It was under Institute of Scientific Information, which is, that's why everybody call it ISI, then bought by Thomson Reuters, then Finally, Clarivate Analytics, they bought Thomson Reuters. So now the Web of Science is under Clarivate Analytics. Clarivate Analytics, they have 4 database: art and humanities, science citation, social science citation, and the last one is the emerging sources citation index. The last database, they don't have any impact factor. It is for newly joined journals to monitor their performance before they can accept them into the science citation index expanded, which they have the impact factor. And of course, the journal citation report, the JCR, is announced every year by Clarivate Analytics or Web of Science about the impact factor of the journals. And of course, this is again Clarivate Analytics on the YouTube. I will share the YouTube channel link with you so you can see all a video on how to use Scopus website and also Clarivate Analytics website.